Understanding ADRE's role in property management. The Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, is the governing body that oversees property management activities in Arizona. Its primary mission is to protect the public, ensure compliance, and maintain professional standards within the real estate industry. As a property manager or designated broker, you are not just managing properties, you are operating under the supervision and authority of ADRE. Every decision you make, from handling trust funds to advertising a rental, falls within their regulatory reach. In the 2026 regulatory environment, ADRE has taken a more active role in enforcement, supervision expectations, and audit procedures, especially following the major rule updates in 2025. Licensing and certification oversight. ADRE is responsible for licensing real estate professionals, including those involved in property management. In Arizona, most property managers must hold an active real estate license, which requires education, testing, and ongoing continuing education. Under ARS Paragraph 32-2125, if a corporation, LLC, or partnership is operating a property management business, it must designate a licensed broker to act as the designated broker. This broker is responsible for the supervision and compliance of all activities conducted under that entity. For example, if a brokerage in Gilbert manages rental properties through an LLC structure, ADRE expects that entity to have a properly licensed designated broker actively supervising operations, not just listed on paper. Licensing is not just about entry into the industry, it is about maintaining accountability. Enforcement of regulations and disciplinary authority. ADRE has the authority to investigate complaints, conduct hearings, and enforce disciplinary actions against licensees who violate Arizona real estate laws. Under ARS Paragraph 32-2153, ADRE can suspend or revoke licenses, issue fines, require education, or impose other corrective actions. Common violations in property management include mishandling trust funds, failing to maintain proper records, lack of supervision, and violations of fair housing laws. Consider this real-world scenario. A broker fails to properly reconcile a trust account and cannot account for missing funds. Even if the error was unintentional, ADRE may still impose disciplinary action due to the seriousness of handling client money. This highlights an important concept. Intent does not eliminate responsibility. Consumer protection and industry education. ADRE is not only an enforcement agency, it is also an educational resource. The department provides guidance, publishes updates to laws and rules, and offers resources to help licensees stay compliant. Their goal is to create transparency and protect consumers, including tenants, property owners, and the general public. For example, ADRE regularly updates guidance on advertising practices, disclosure requirements, and supervision expectations, especially as technology and AI continue to evolve in real estate. A well-informed broker is far less likely to face disciplinary action. Monitoring, audits, and real-world oversight. One of the most important functions of ADRE in property management is conducting audits. An ADRE audit is a detailed review of a brokerage's operations, focusing on financial records, trust accounts, documentation, and compliance procedures. Many brokers believe audits only happen when there is a complaint. In reality, audits can be random or triggered by patterns in business activity. During an audit, ADRE may review trust account reconciliations, lease agreements, tenant files, and transaction records to ensure compliance with ARS Paragraph 32-2174 and ARS Paragraph 32-2175. For example, if a brokerage cannot produce proper documentation for tenant deposits or cannot demonstrate monthly reconciliation of accounts, this can quickly escalate into a violation. The brokers who operate successfully treat every day as if an audit could happen at any time. What an ADRE audit actually looks like. A property management audit is a full operational review of how a brokerage manages properties. It is not just about numbers, it is about systems, consistency, and compliance. Financial reviews include verifying rent collection, tracking deposits, reviewing expenses, and ensuring accurate bank reconciliations. Lease compliance reviews ensure that tenant agreements align with legal requirements and that rent adjustments and evictions are handled properly. Maintenance reviews evaluate how repairs are handled, how vendors are selected, and whether work orders are properly documented. Legal compliance reviews focus on fair housing practices, safety standards, and adherence to local and state regulations. Documentation reviews ensure that all records, tenant files, financial reports, and communications are organized, secure, and accessible. Performance metrics such as vacancy rates, tenant turnover, and budget adherence may also be evaluated to determine operational efficiency. The purpose of an audit is not just to find problems, it is to identify risks before they become violations. Insurance is part of regulatory compliance and risk management. In addition to following laws and rules, property managers must also protect their business through proper insurance coverage. General liability insurance protects against bodily injury or property damage, claims that occur on the property. Errors and omissions, E&O, insurance protects against claims of negligence or mistakes in professional services. Property insurance covers damage to physical assets, such as buildings and equipment. Workers' compensation insurance is required if employees are involved and covers workplace injuries. Cyber liability insurance has become increasingly important as property managers handle sensitive tenant data electronically. Umbrella policies provide additional protection beyond standard liability limits. These policies are not just good business practices. They are part of a comprehensive risk management strategy that aligns with ADRE's expectation of professional conduct under AAC R4-28-1103. Real-world example, maintenance issue and compliance in action. Let's walk through a real-life scenario to see how ADRE expectations play out in practice. A tenant in Phoenix reports that their air conditioning has stopped working during the summer. The property manager logs the request, evaluates the urgency, and determines that it requires immediate attention due to habitability concerns. A licensed HVAC technician is contacted and the repair is scheduled. The property manager coordinates access with the tenant and ensures proper communication throughout the process. Once the repair is completed, documentation is collected, including invoices and technician notes. The tenant is contacted to confirm the issue is resolved, and the property owner is notified of the repair and associated costs. This process demonstrates compliance in multiple areas: tenant communication, maintenance handling, documentation, and financial tracking. If audited, this file would show a clear, compliant workflow aligned with ADRE expectations. How this section connects forward. This section shows how ADRE operates as both a regulator and a guide for property management professionals. It also demonstrates how audits, enforcement, and compliance are all interconnected. As we move into the next section, we will take a deeper look at broker supervision and control under AAC R4-28-1103, where these expectations become daily responsibilities that must be actively managed. Online discussion. Why does ADRE place such a strong emphasis on audits and record-keeping in property management? Answer: because property managers handle client funds and sensitive information, requiring accurate documentation to ensure transparency, accountability, and consumer protection. What is the most common reason brokers face disciplinary action in property management? Answer: mishandling trust accounts, poor record-keeping, and lack of proper supervision are the most common causes of violations. How does proper documentation protect a broker during an ADRE audit? Answer: it provides a clear record of actions taken, demonstrates compliance with laws, and helps defend against potential violations or complaints.